What is up everyone, Barricade here, and today I'm bringing you guys a discussion video regarding what Carmine we would potentially see in Gears of War E-Day. So the very first thing I want to say regarding a potential Carmine, the reason why I would love to see another Carmine in this game is, well, it's kind of a staple of the series if you think about it. You know, in every Gears of War game, except Judgment really, we essentially always got a new Carmine. You know, Gears 1 was Anthony, Gears 2 was Ben, Gears 3 was Clay, and in Gears 4, we had Gary. Gears 5, we had Lizzie. And then in Judgment, you had Clay as well, but I don't really count that because the times that they showed Clay was just during the events of Gears of War 3. So that's the thing that kind of makes it feel like, like they didn't actually introduce a new Carmine. I wish they would have at least like mentioned a different Carmine or had a different Carmine, you know, during the events of Gears of War Judgment. And I feel like in order to bring back that, you know, classic feeling of Gears of War would be to introduce a new Carmine. Well, I've had a few people comment on some of my videos, and even my friends ask me what Carmine could potentially be in Gears of War E-Day, if it could be the unnamed D Carmine that we've never got to see. Unfortunately, when it comes to actually being in E-Day, none of the brothers that we've known from the original trilogy could really be in Gears of War E-Day, at least not as soldiers. And the reason being is because they are simply too young. They were very young by the time of the events of Gears 1, 2, and 3. So during Gears of War E-Day, they would essentially be children. You know, at the very least, Clay Carmine would have been born already, and he would be pretty damn young. There's no way he would be able to be a soldier and fight and all that. So we wouldn't be able to see any of the brothers either because Clay's the oldest. So if he's really young, then you could just imagine how young the other ones are. But I had an amazing idea actually. Well, it was a little bit of an idea that my friend mentioned, but then I kind of fused it with an idea of my own. So my friend made a joke and said that we're going to get a Z Carmine, the letter Z. And I thought about it and I was like, wait a minute. Wouldn't it be really cool if we got essentially a Carmine? Like, let's do this. Let's just imagine this scenario in the Gears of War E-Day campaign. You're playing as Marcus and Dom. You're fighting Locust. You're making your way through the city and all that. And then you get a distress call on a radio from an unknown soldier. You reach him. You find him. You see him surrounded by Locusts. And you take them all out. And you have an introduction with them. You're talking to this soldier and you realize that, you know, he's wearing a helmet. You know, he looks very similar to that of a Carmine. And he has a similar voice and everything. You're talking to him and he tells Marcus and Dom, I need help. I'm trying to reach my family. I want to make sure they're safe. And then while they're talking and everything, it comes to a point where one of the characters, either Marcus or Dom, tell him or ask him, you know, what's your name, soldier? And then the new character looks back at Marcus and Dom and simply says, my name is Zachary Carmine. Or you can call me Zach. And, you know, and as you're running with this character, you know, you get used to him. He's a good soldier. He's really funny and stuff. He's very similar to, you know, the Carmine brothers that we essentially have known throughout the trilogy and everything. But he's not them. His name is Zach. His name is Zachary Carmine. They call him Carmine or Zach or whatever. And as you're going through this little part in the story, you eventually you fight your way through the city and you get to where you meet his family. You find his wife and kids. He has 4 sons, and then you get to see that they're all their names. The oldest son is named Clayton, and then you see Anthony, Ben, and then they actually finally mention the D Carmine's name. You know, they say, you know, imagine Zachary says, oh, these are my sons. This is, you know, this is Clayton, this is, you know, Damien, this is Anthony, and this is Ben. You know, and imagine if he said something like that, you know, if the D Carmine's name was Damien or David or something, and we get to finally at least find out the name with just the simple introduction of Zachary, you know, naming his children to Marcus and Dom. And then essentially as this is going on, you know, you fight your way through, you're helping the family, you know, get to like a helicopter to escape or something, some type of evac point. And then unfortunately as they're evacuating, Zachary has to essentially take a bullet to save his kids and unfortunately dies while his family escapes. You know, we get that sad trope again of a Carmine dying, but in this time, at the very least, he's dying as a hero to save his children. We get to see essentially the brothers as children, and we get to see the mother as well, get to learn her name and everything. and it would just be like this whole cool like way to kind of like bring it all back full circle, because we never ever got to find out what the other brother's name. If you guys didn't know, there's actually 4 Carmine brothers. There's essentially Clay, Anthony, Ben, and then a unnamed Carmine that is most likely starts with the letter D, but they've never shown them. They never said what his official name is. We don't know anything about him. And it's fortunate, because I always wanted to see that in like one of the newer games or something. Maybe we'll get it in like the sequels in Gear 6 or something, but it's hard to say. But it'd be really cool to at least find out what his official name is, with, you know, going through this instance with, you know, Zachary Carmine and him saving his kids. Now, here's another thing that'd be really cool. Let's imagine that Zachary Carmine is actually a part of another set of brothers, essentially with the letters being W, X, Y, and Z, and Zach being essentially part of those 4 brothers. The thing that would be really cool is if they also mentioned essentially another Carmine that was actually mentioned in the comics that I'll talk about real quick here. His name was Will Carmine. He was actually a character shown in the comics, and unfortunately he was shown very briefly. He was essentially part of the Carmine family, but we don't know exactly his details, and unfortunately he was killed by Rom on E-Day. As soon as the locust came up, he died pretty quickly, unfortunately. But it was mostly because he got caught off guard, and he had to fortunately run right into Rom and get murdered. So wouldn't that be kind of crazy if you find out that, you know, there's 4 brothers, and essentially, you know, Zachary's part of that, Will's part of it, and then we have 2 other brothers, you know, one maybe named like Xavier Carmine, and then we have another Carmine named with the letter Y, named like Yosef or Yuri or something like that. That'd be really cool, because then we would get another set of Carmine brothers that could actually be a part of this timeline. And essentially that'd be really cool too, is that, you know, I don't know if E-Day is just going to be a one-off game, or I really hope what they're going to do essentially is make a prequel trilogy, which that's what I've always wanted, but that's probably not going to happen. But if they did, then we would have another set of Carmines to work with. So just a thought. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to make this video and essentially introduce that concept of a new Carmine being introduced in Gears of War E-Day, and essentially it being the father of the brothers that we saw in the original trilogy, a Carmine named Zachary Carmine, and we get to see him essentially protect his kids and unfortunately die in some type of very sad way while protecting his kids, which would be a very dramatic and sad way to go. But yeah, guys, if you guys like this video, definitely hit that like button and subscribe, and tell me what you guys think about having a new set of Carmines introduced, or at the very least the father of the brothers being introduced in Gears of War E-Day. If you guys like this idea, feel free to share this video around, because I would love to see if maybe the devs were to see it or something like that. I highly doubt it, but it'd be really cool if they haven't yet thought of a Carmine being added. That would be really cool if my video was the thing that kind of gave them idea, but I highly doubt it. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching, guys, and take it easy.
Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see my most recent Gears of War video, hit that link on the left. If you want to see any of my other content, hit that link on the right. Thanks for watching, guys.